Longest Take podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the Longest Take podcast. In today's episode, I am joined by Richard Burgin. Richard is a prolific painter, video artist, soundtrack composer, and podcaster, but also a magnificent writer and director. Within the last few years, releasing Fang, starring Lynn Lowry, Richard is also in the process of pre-production with his upcoming project, Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus. In the meantime, you could look out for another upcoming sci-fi horror movie called Malsomnia. Please welcome Richard to today's episode. All right, so first things first, what are your top 5 favorite movies?
Well, sometimes it depends on my mood that I'm in, because when I watch a movie, it's usually I either I feel it or I don't. So sometimes I get to be in a certain mood and then a movie, whoa, this was I did not know that I needed this right now. So I think my favorite movies are the movies that influence me the most, and definitely Psycho and The Shining when I was younger. That was what made me want to become a director and become a horror director specifically. So that was very influential for me, and those are still 2 of my favorites now. And then Taxi Driver is another movie that really speaks to me, not quite as much now as when I was younger. I like to think I'm very different from Travis Bickle nowadays, but that's definitely one of my favorite movies too. And it's hard to choose one David Lynch movie to be my favorite from him, since that's also very mood dependent for me. So I would say Blue Velvet, Mall, and Drive and Fire Walk with Me could all be my favorites depending on my mood. And then also The Fly from David Cronenberg. I think that's a beautiful love story, and also a grotesque love story. But I think that's what love is. Any relationship can be beautiful and grotesque, and hopefully more beautiful than grotesque. So that's a movie that really speaks to me a lot too.
Right, and that I love the way that you talk about The Fly, because that is one of Cronenberg's best, easily.
Oh, totally.
And based on 2 things, so David Lynch and The Fly more obviously, but I saw remnants of David Lynch inspiration in Fang. There were some scenes of surrealism where it kind of gave me that vibe a little bit, and obviously,
cool.
The Fly takes the parallels there are a little more obvious because you got the body horror thing going on a little bit, but very, very cool because
thank you.
If there's something to be inspired by, you want it to be the greats out there, and those 2 movies are fantastic, especially in horror.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I figure and that's something I've thought about a lot, as a creative person, because people are always talking about originality versus making something that's kind of cliched or too similar to something else. And I figure, there's no such thing as being truly original. Every movie is, it's inspired by something, it's ripping off something or taking ideas from something. So I figure, it's good to watch as many different movies as possible and get inspired by it and take ideas from other movies and then try to do something new with it. Kind of mix so many different things together that it comes out as a new flavor. That maybe it reminds you of the old flavors, but hopefully still a new flavor.
Right, exactly. And that's why that's why homage is so great to recognize in movies. And you look at Quentin Tarantino, someone who's highly acclaimed in cinema, and all of his movies have some stuff straight up taken out of old westerns or other classic movies. So
or Lady Snowblood with Kill Bill, that's a great movie too. Lady Snowblood, that's definitely out of the whole kind of Japanese martial arts revenge genre. That's definitely one of the best.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny. So this is kind of a sidebar, but there's this new video game coming out called Ghosts of Yotai, and
cool.
It's a follow-up to Ghosts of Tsushima, and they listed just a couple movies that are an inspiration to this new game, and Lady Snowblood was one of them. And that was the only one on this list that I hadn't seen yet. So now that you mentioned it too.
Okay, now you gotta watch it.
Absolutely, yeah.
You don't have any excuse now.
Right. The universe is telling me something. But still very awesome, and
thank you.
That's how you get great art. Is there's going to be some remnant of something else. You know, it's impossible for something to just be conjured out of nowhere, right?
Absolutely.
You look at matter
and it
itself.
would be kind of interesting, take somebody who's like never watched a movie or like has barely like watched any, and then ask them to make a movie. Like the results could be very interesting, but they would probably still be inspired by something else.
Yep. It would just be a day in their life. Like that's it. If there's nothing like film to copy, it would just be like their day to day. That it would just be a carbon copy of that.
Oh yeah.
So, what was your origin story into filmmaking, and why did you choose film as opposed to other artistic endeavors?
Well, that is a great question, because film is not my only artistic endeavor. I also do painting, and when I was younger, like when I was a kid, I was already like writing, like and drawing cartoons, doing music too. I used to sing more when I was a kid. Like nowadays, like it's different, like after your voice changes when you're a teenager. Plus, like my mom wanted me to be in the school choir, and I was like, it's too many rules for me.
Right.
But I think what made like film like really, why I wanted this to be like the main thing that I do is that, when you think about it, like movies are really like a combination of all of the other art forms. Like you have writing, you have music, you have photography / cinematography, you have set design and costume design and makeup, special effects makeup. Acting is its own art form. So I think it's kind of like having everything come together, to create like a whole that's greater than the sum of its parts, or even if it's not greater than the sum of its parts, like even watching a bad movie, I can usually find one or two things that I like about it, and that can be really interesting too. Because if you're watching a movie that maybe it didn't turn out so well, then that kind of really shows you, it's like, well, this aspect of the movie is working, these other aspects are not working. But I think it's kind of like, it's like just everything that goes into making a movie and all of the different parts of it. I think that's what made me want to do it.
Yeah, and that's great too, because I mean, I haven't really thought of it like that, but film, like you said, really is kind of a culmination of all these other avenues of art. And maybe that speaks to why it touches so many people.
I hope so. Like, I figure it's like you always want your movie to make some kind of an impact on the people watching, and if it doesn't, that's life.
Right. Exactly. And what was it you just said? So I try to follow that same thing, where if I'm watching something I just don't like, I try to find something to appreciate about it. And I honestly, totally. I have that attitude with people too. If there's somebody that like I just not getting along with, I just don't, they're kind of a dick or something. You could always learn something from everybody, just like you can always find something to like about really anything, unless it's just like, I mean, there's this guy, Charlie Shackleton, I think he did this 8-hour movie just watching paint dry, and he did it as like a troll.
That sounds like Andy Warhol. Yeah. Actually, he did the same thing back in the 60s, like filming the Empire State Building for 8 hours.
He did do that. Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And but Charlie did this as like a troll to the ratings board, because they had to watch the entire thing So he did it, and he's like, here you go. You got to sit through this entire thing to give it a proper rating.
Oh man,
it's
no, that kind of thing like appeals to me too. Is like, like people, like think like, oh, like you must be like so serious or something, but I really like, jokes and like being silly in general. And I do really like the idea of doing like an 8-hour long, like practical joke just to make sure the right people or the wrong people watch it.
Yeah. I love that story so much. And,
oh yeah.
Funnily enough, Charlie, I guess he had a movie in Sundance. He has a documentary about the Zodiac Killer. So like,
oh, cool.
What a shift, right? You got watching paint and dry, and now you got.
He's a versatile guy.
Yeah. I love that.
Oh yeah.
So
that's awesome.
So kind of, switching gears to Fang. So Fang reportedly had a couple different inspirations. The first one you mentioned, seeing a few brown recluse spiders, I believe, in your apartment. As a fellow Midwesterner, that is absolutely a phobia of mine, knowing how dangerous those suckers are. So kind of, you don't have to rehash the story you already told. I think it was someone else's podcast, but just the brown recluses, like what's been your experience with those things? Because I hate them. And how did that kind of fuel the creativity?
They're not exactly the most likable creatures.
Yeah, right.
Well, I have to say, they didn't bite me. Like, basically, my experience was, like, seeing them, like, at very inconvenient times. Like, when I was in my bedroom, like, when I was a teenager at my dad's house. Like, I was, like, sitting at my desk. I was on my computer. I was, like, probably typing some random shit or, like, doing something, like, random on the internet, and then I turn around and I say, oh, there's this ground recluse spider, like it's a foot away from my foot, and there is like something, it makes a really strong like impression because like it's venomous, and like maybe 1 or 2 people have died from getting bitten by a brown recluse, but it's also like you say this thing that is like so like alien and threatening, and it's right there, like, in your bedroom, like one of your most personal spaces. So I think that's what really, why, like, that idea really resonated with me to make Fang, because it's like I really like this whole idea of kind of combining things that are really, like, dark and weird and disturbing and creepy and sinister with things that are very familiar, and having like a brown recluse like just come like so close to your like the back of your foot, that's exactly that. And I saw them like in the bathroom too. I think I might have seen a couple in the hallway, and the one in my bedroom, like it had like blood like after it was killed, so I'm thinking it might have been pregnant. So that was the mother spider.
Oh geez, yeah, man. I can't do spiders. Even daddy long legs, there's something just icky about them to me.
Oh yeah. Well, technically all spiders are venomous. It's just that some of them have like a very weak venom compared to like brown recluse is one of the more venomous ones, along with the black widows. But even like a daddy long legs or like a more innocuous kind of spider, it still has a little bit of venom.
Right. Yeah. It's also it's compatibility, I guess, with the human body, right? Like some of them they'll bite you and you're itchy. But I think a cousin of mine actually got bit on the leg by a brown recluse years ago.
Whoa.
And
I hope it's okay.
Yeah. He was fine, but like it was like a huge like size of this was the mark on the leg. It was. That's really scary. Yeah, it's stay away from moisture and damp areas. I always hear that's kind of at least where they come from, right? They probably travel out from there. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the movie Infested? I think Yeah, Infested and Sting were two spider-related movies that came out last year, creature features.
Oh, wow. I have not seen those, but just from the titles, Infested and Sting, like that really appeals to me because I've had other like infestation-related problems too. Like I had like bed bug problems a while back. Thankfully, that's all like resolved. And ironically, like bed bugs are not venomous. They're just really fucking creepy.
And annoying, right? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So another thing that, you know, played a big role, at least for the inspiration for Fang, is you mentioned before seeing your father struggle with Parkinson's during the period. How important is it to you to not only have representation of some disabling conditions in art, like you've mentioned in other interviews, but to also tap into such a raw and personal part of yourself?
Oh, thank you. Well, I guess like probably like the answer I would be expected to give is that it's like, you know, it's hard to tap into like a really raw and personal part of yourself, but you have to do it for the sake of art. But honestly, what I would say is that like it's really easy to write about that kind of stuff for me because it's like, you know, it's what I see. Not what I see now, but it's what I saw happening around me. So that makes it easier to just kind of like identify with it and relate to it and be able to like channel that into writing the script for Fang. And I think it's a lot harder like for me. And I've had this experience before, like trying to understand characters like who are like just like very different for me, who have like very different life experiences. So I guess it's like it's not quite as creative to just like take things that are like pretty similar to what you saw happen to yourself. But I figure, you know, that's what makes the most sense to me, at least with Fang. And I try to put a little bit of myself in each of my characters so I can kind of fully identify with them and make them feel more human, although hopefully like my evil characters maybe not quite as similar to me,
right.
just a little bit.
Yeah, right, just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So I also I had heard that the character of Billy you modeled a little bit after yourself as well.
Oh yeah.
Since you mentioned just now that you put a little bit of yourself in each of your characters, so what was the process of creating someone like Billy for this project?
Well, with Billy, and like nowadays, I would say I'm not very similar to Billy at all. Like now, like, you know, I'm making movies, you know, I'm going on podcasts. I have a girlfriend. I have people like who want to work with me on different projects. But when I was younger, that was not the case for me. I was really depressed, like at around like age 18 or 19. That was like a really bleak period of my life. I was very lonely and alienated. And I was kind of like resentful, like of all of like what I considered to be the popular people, which really I probably projected a lot of things onto them that they weren't actually doing. So Billy was inspired by that period of my life. And that was also the time when I was living with my dad while he had Parkinson's too. So it was kind of like I had like my personal mental health problems and his physical health problems kind of going together. And like, and I don't want to be like too critical of Billy because I also wanted to show how like, you know, he has like potential and he's like really creative, like with the alien world that he's creating in his drawings for the Greixians, but like he doesn't really develop like in a positive way.
Right, which I mean that happens sometimes, right? You don't.
Oh, totally. I mean, it wouldn't be like a horror movie. Like if Billy developed in a positive way, it would be like more of like an inspirational drama.
Coming of age, you know, that kind of story.
It's a coming of rat movie, not a coming of age.
Coming of rat, yeah. I love that.
Thank you.
Um, and yeah, that I would say that talking about your time period in the 18 and 19 range sounds like your Taxi Driver era, your
Totally.
Travis Bickle era, kind of.
That's part of why. Like, I mean, there's still part of me. Like, I can totally identify with Travis, but nowadays, like, maybe I'm a little bit more like Senator Palatine nowadays.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's a little bit more emotional maturity now compared to you know, back then.
I hope so.
Yeah. Very, very cool. So,
oh, thank you.
I know you did a festival run with Fang. What was the most rewarding part of that experience?
Well, it's always wonderful to get to see your movie on the big screen, except for, well, like when we did the premiere, like I was pretty nervous, but then after seeing it on the big screen multiple times, it feels pretty wonderful. And I think my favorite thing about going to film festivals is like kind of meeting people there and getting to see their movies too. And like my girlfriend and I, and Isabella Rangel, my girlfriend, she is like really, just like really wonderful, beautiful, creative. And we're going to be working together on all of my projects because she's a really talented makeup artist and she has a lot of great story ideas too. And so we went on the Fang tour together. We went to like festivals like in Milwaukee, in Oshkosh, in Madison, in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Like Wisconsin is the state where Fang is played the most for some reason. And we went to Davenport too. So it was just like a really cool experience for us to go on tour together and get to meet like all of these new people and filmmakers and people who really like the movie. So it just feels really good.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I imagine that would be great to see all that. And
oh, totally.
So
and when you're an indie filmmaker, that's as close as it gets to being a rock star.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, networking also plays a huge role. Have there been any moments of networking in that period that have kind of helped with your process for the Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus? Did I say that title correctly?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
But people that you've networked with throughout this, this post period of Fang, has any of that, I guess, been utilized for your pre-production of Slaughter Brothers?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The story of how I got involved with the Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus, it dates back to December 2023. I went to, first I saw on social media, there was a post about how at Facets Theater here in Chicago, they were going to do a double feature of the original Black Christmas and the movie Curtains from 1983. And Lynn Griffin was going to be coming to the screening to do a Q&A afterwards, and she was in both of the movies. She played the girl who gets killed with the plastic bag in Black Christmas. So I was like, yeah, this sounds really cool. Oh, yeah. So I went to the screening, and at that time, I was still very much trying to get Fang out there to as many people as possible. So when Lynn Griffin walked into Facets Theater, I was kind of standing near the entrance, and then I showed her, I said, hi, I'm Richard Burgin, I'm an indie filmmaker. And then I showed her the, I forget if it was a clip from Fang or the Fang poster on my phone. And then she was like, wow, this looks really good. So that made an impression on her. And then about a week later, Lynn Griffin told me that she watched Fang, and she really enjoyed the movie, and she thought Lynn Lowry gave a phenomenal performance. So we were kind of talking off and on for the next few months after that. And then Lynn Griffin and I started to talk about we should work together on something. And then while we were talking about working together, her husband, Sean Sullivan, who is the author of the Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus, he wrote the original play and most of the screenplay. that we're going to use for the movie. So Sean heard us talking and he was like, Richard, I feel like we've known you for a long time already. And then that was like, that was it. That's like he told me about the Slaughter Brothers, and that was that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And
thank you.
The Slaughter Brothers, have you had a chance to see it played somewhere, or is it no longer are there no longer any shows for it? Did you get a chance to see any sort of live recording of it, or was it just
absolutely.
You got to see it on stage?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the theatrical run of the play was canceled because of COVID back in 2020. And then after that, Sean and the original cast of the play recorded the radio version of the Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus. And when I was making like the promotional video for our Indiegogo campaign, Sean sent me like some video recordings that were made of the theatrical shows, and I was like, wow, this is like my original Indiegogo campaign video was like 2 minutes longer, because I was like, there's all this cool stuff that I want to include, that I want people to see when they watch it and they look at the campaign. And
right.
I've come up with my own ideas to add to what I wrote about. I think like 12 pages of like new material to add to the screenplay, like kind of highlighting the insect transformation scenes, like when the clowns start like turning into insects. That was the part that I kind of wrote out in more detail, and it's something I feel very creatively inspired by. Anything that has to do with like going from being human to not so human.
Right. And you're thinking insects. I mean, arachnids, brown recluses. There's like a full circle moment with that. That sounds awesome too.
Thank you.
And I feel like you said about creativity, I feel like there's so much you can do with it.
Totally.
I mean, looking at the genres listed for this upcoming project: comedy, fantasy, horror, musical. Would you say that like, so there's only a couple movies I could think of that have most of, if not all of those subgenres, and that would be like Rocky Horror Picture Show or Repo, the Genetic Opera. Do you think that there's any similarities between those two projects in particular, or is this something that you feel is just like it's kind of its own thing, like you don't know anything that could kind of compare to it right now?
Well, I would love for the Slaughter Brothers to get like a Rocky Horror level of cult following, because actually, like, I went to the like one of the theatrical screenings of the Rocky Horror Picture Show here in Chicago last Halloween, and I was with my girlfriend Isa, and then my friends John and Andrew, and like we were like the only people like in the theater who were getting like really animated watching it. Most people seem like very like kind of somber and sedate. So I guess like it's not like that similar to the Slaughter Brothers, but with the Slaughter Brothers, I definitely want to go for like the very theatrical quality. Like I want this is something like it's partially about like keeping the budget lower, but also like I think it's a good creative choice is that I want the insect costumes like to look like kind of like artificial, like more like insect costumes that people could make at home rather than something that looks like hyper realistic CGI, because I think it's a lot like weirder and more interesting to have like these people who are clearly wearing costumes but they're acting like they're insects.
Right. And it's something kind of similar to that. So in 2016's Shin Godzilla's fully CGI, which was different at the time because up to then it was just a guy in a suit. But the way the CGI was done, it was still made to look like it was a guy in a suit with the movements. So I definitely could appreciate that. You know, there's a charm to that. There's definitely a charm to that.
And I think it's more like interesting, like visually, because you know there's so many movies now that have like $200 million worth of CGI, and that's like the whole movie. You know, you're seeing like these kind of like elaborate CGI set pieces. You know, you're seeing whole cities and planets get destroyed. But then, like, you know, I think it's good to have like the human element, you know, to have costumes that look like they were made by like a very strange and possibly abusive family.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That gives me Texas Chainsaw Massacre making
cool.
making costumes out of skin.
Oh yeah.
Skin. But yeah, and I think that, you know, with that the low budget quality you're kind of talking about and just the surreal elements of this project, I mean, it sounds like you're going to be tapping into more of the Lynchian themes with that. Because I mean, you watch any of David Lynch's movies, you got all sorts of weird stuff, and
totally.
You know, he's not like you said, spending millions of dollars on CGI for any of it. Like a lot of it is just practical. That he doesn't care how it looks. It's just like, man, this is it. Unapologetically, you is the best thing you could do in this scene. I think that's it's definitely gonna translate really well once you get this going.
Thank you so much. And I think like that's like, because I think like David Lynch is kind of like a hard director to be inspired by in some ways, because it's like if you look at like Hitchcock, like it's kind of easy to imitate that style. But I think like when a lot of people like try to imitate David Lynch, they kind of get like the wrong like idea and just make a movie that's like kind of like random like weirdness. So I think it's good to have like a really kind of strong story and strong characters underpinning it, and then kind of like riff off of that and think about like what kind of like weird imagery can I think of that's like inspired by these characters in this story.
Right, absolutely. And to kind of piggyback off that a little bit about, you know, what matters to you when putting something together like this, and you being someone who lives and breathes cinema, what do you think is necessary to keep the scene alive? So on one hand, you're talking about what you think makes a project like a good project, but what do you think is necessary to keep just the cinema zeitgeist up, you know, above water, keep people interested, going to the theater, all that fun stuff? You know, what do you think it takes?
Well, that's something I'm still kind of figuring out, because I'm trying to get more people to watch my movies. So I think a big part of it is like kind of like you're releasing new movies that get people talking and that people find very interesting. And I think last year we had a lot of movies like that. Like we had like Enora, The Substance, The Brutalist, and then like Barbenheimer like in the year before. So it's like, I think it's like anything that comes out like and gets people talking. And then it's like, and I know like, because I watch a lot of YouTube videos too, that it's like, if there's like one movie or TV show that people are talking about, then people like make a bunch of reaction videos about it and video essays where they're analyzing it. So I think as long as like, you know, stuff is coming out that gets people talking, I think the film industry will continue. I don't think AI is going to do anything to eliminate the creative process, because I think, you know, people really overestimate what AI can do.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that, because even I'll see someone post, they'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe how realistic AI is. This is insane. And I'll watch the video and I'm like, dude, you can tell how lifeless this is. This doesn't... It's not there yet. It could get there, but it's always going to... If you want it to be 100% AI, it's always going to feel lifeless. And I don't think that'll ever change.
Well, it can't really come up with ideas on its own. Like, it can only... Like, I think the best way I heard it described by somebody, and I would totally take credit for this quote if I said it myself, but there was somebody who said, you know, AI is not magic, it's a magic trick. So it can only like really like take in information that you feed it. Like you can feed it like like a bunch of movies and then say AI, like make a movie yourself, and then it just comes up with like what feels like the most like kind of like generic amalgamation of all of the movies that it was fed part of its diet.
Yep. And I mean, look at how they create these AI models. The first thing that they do, the preliminary thing, is they just take millions and millions of gigabytes of data of just everything. They just put it in there, and you know,
like
they kind of shape
exactly,
and they shape the algorithm around that, and they ask it questions, and it just keeps building off of every question that you ask it. So it's fascinating, but it's not. I don't think it could replace art.
I don't think so. Yeah, and because I do see like a lot of like people like talking about that, but I'm like, you know, if you're afraid of AI, like try using AI. You're not going to be afraid of it if you're trying to get it to do what you want.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're scared of it. Here, ask it some questions. Make it.
Oh yeah.
Upload a picture of yourself and make it into a funny photo. Like.
Oh yeah.
If you're scared of it.
Well, that is something it can do like effectively. Like AI can make you look like an anime character. It's very good at that.
Yeah, and you'll see those all over. The big websites like X, Facebook. They they love their AI models and little pictures you can make with them. But you know, if people want to mess around with those, you know, I don't see an issue with that. It's only when you're like, if there was an opportunity to, like, if you're making something that you're going to sell, right? You're creating something, a project. But instead of outsourcing properly to artists that can do it, you're just trying to shortcut through it with AI. That's when it becomes an ethical thing, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of a thornier issue. And I get it, you know, because it's like, it's always like movies are expensive and people like, you know, want to get their shit out there. But then I think it's like if you rely too much on AI, like at a certain point, like it becomes obvious and that people just kind of disengage from what you're doing. So you always have to kind of have like the human creativity in there. Like if you really want people to sit up and notice.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You need to have some sort of heart, some sort of soul.
Oh yeah.
And I think most audiences are going to recognize. At least
totally.
I hope so. The optimistic side of me thinks, yes, they'll notice. The pessimistic side, I think in 10 years, the pessimistic side of me is like, we're going to have people paying millions in the theaters to see full AI movies. No one's going to care anymore. And they're just going to be like, whatever. I'm a little more optimistic.
I'll be curious to see how like it evolves in 10 years. That is something like I'm very curious about in general, is to see like what the rest of the 21st century will be like. But there's part of me that thinks that technology might not be developing as much as we think it will now, because it does feel like we're entering into like the new dark ages in some ways. But I am optimistic too that I think, you know, we're going to make it through okay.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, you do have a point there. I feel like technologically speaking, there is kind of a plateau.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like when Steve Jobs was alive, like there was like whole new like Apple products coming out every couple of years, and now we have like the new generation of the iPhone, the new generation of the MacBook Pro, but it's all like kind of like upgrading the stuff that already exists.
Yeah, and you have Meta and Apple and Sony. They're really putting a lot of money into VR, which VR I feel left out because I get bad motion sickness, so I can't participate.
I'm sorry, man. On my birthday earlier this year, like that's what my girlfriend Isa and I, like we did a virtual reality experience, and I got to admit that was definitely cool. But I could totally understand, like if you have motion sickness, forget about it.
Oh yeah, because I tried. I tried twice, and I had to sell it. Man.
We got to come up with like a very like placid virtual reality experience.
Yeah. I wonder if that's something for technologically speaking. There you go. There's something that they could strive towards. But
Oh yeah, do
that
like the Lake Placid Grand Tour.
yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, thank you.
Because yeah, you're talking about the crocodile movie, right? Lake Placid.
Well, they make it like a placid lake that may or may not have crocodiles, but you gotta do the virtual reality to find out.
Yeah, there you go. But you look at Meta, they've spent billions and billions on just making the VR thing work, and there's so many cool elements to it that I think would be great. But like that's been the only like really innovation, to your point. That's the only thing that I've noticed that isn't just an upgrade of what came before it, which in certain cases, I mean, it is just kind of building off of video games and and the internet.
Like, I guess it deserves to be called like its own separate thing, although it is kind of like video games. But I think, well, I guess it's not something I've thought about like too much, or like what would be like the creative or artistic uses for virtual reality and how much like you can do that. It would be pretty cool like to make a virtual reality movie and figure out how to do that, but I guess that's something I'll have to think about some more, like how that could be done.
Yeah, because I mean talking technology, I mean that's one of the very few avenues of of innovation that I think it's not tapped out yet like everything else. And kind of speaking of the future, the near future, whether professionally or personally, it's up to you. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, hopefully 5 years from now I'll still be doing the kind of stuff that I'm doing now, only with like more money and bigger platform. Yeah,
right. Hopefully Slaughter Brothers is
totally
already out by then, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're hoping to get it done by the end of next year, possibly 2027 too. But I think like I know the film industry is crazy, and making movies is like an inherently crazy thing to do. But I know this is my life. This is what I'm passionate about. I don't really see myself doing anything else in 5 to 10 years. Hopefully I'll be a better filmmaker by that point than I am now. And of course it's always good, to get like recognition and rewards for your work. I think everybody wants that, whether they admit it or not. But like, even if I get like none of that, like even if it's like all of my movies, like nobody watches them, people are like, we don't give a shit what you're doing, Richard. Like I'm still gonna keep doing it, because this is what I do, and I'm gonna keep doing it no matter what.
Right. And do you plan on making other stuff in the meantime while you wait to film Slaughter Brothers?
Absolutely. I've been working on a couple of projects, been doing some writing, and I'm working on getting things ready for my movie Malsomnia, which I do want to kind of tackle some of like the virtual reality and AI kinds of themes. And Malsomnia is about this guy, Benny, like he gets brought back to life by the mad scientist, Dr. Fletcher. And I want Dr. Fletcher to be like this kind of like parody of like all of like the Silicon Valley tech CEOs. Like he's like very like, he really wants to be rich and famous by discovering the way to bring somebody back from the dead. And he is fantasizing about all the attention he's going to get for it. But then Benny, after he gets brought back to life, he starts having like a lot of like memories of his past life, and more traumatic memories keep coming back for him. So that drives him insane, and eventually he becomes homicidal. And I want to do Malsomnia, like make it like on computers as much as possible, like have the different actors like film themselves like that. I want to do like part of it like be like a Zoom meeting too, so I can use the modern technology as much as possible and try to like kind of like I hate the idea of like having like a movie be like a message kind of movie, but hopefully be like my take on the era we're in now.
Right, the almost completely virtual, just
Oh yeah,
webcam, just communication going through that way. Oh, that sounds fascinating. When
thank you.
when do you plan on like trying to get production for that going, like filming and everything?
Well, I'm thinking probably like the main part of it will be filmed probably fairly close in time to when we'll be filming the Slaughter Brothers, and also have like actors like filming themselves at home too. So it could be kind of like, I wanted it to be like kind of done in like a patchwork kind of way where people could contribute different parts at different times, because I don't want to take anything away from my work on the Slaughter Brothers.
Right.
And that is kind of like a thing, like, when you're creative and you have like all of these ideas that are kind of like trying to get out, like it can be hard to focus sometimes. So I want to make sure. Oh, hey, how you doing?
Sorry. My son. River said
nice
hi.
to meet you.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all good, man.
So you were saying just I think you were talking about
Like I want it to be like something I can work on, like while I'm getting things together for the Slaughter Brothers. And I guess like the kind of way I am is, and this is the way that the process is in general, is like there's some days where it's like it's a lot of stuff that has to be done all at once, and then other days like when you're like waiting to hear back, or you're waiting for somebody else to do like their part. And so on the days when I'm waiting, I'm trying to do as much creative stuff as possible too, like so I can get more things finished, and that really makes me feel good psychologically to always be either thinking about my projects or actually getting some work done. And like then the whole team I'm working with on the Slaughter Brothers, like Sean Sullivan is just such a like great guy. Like we just click like so naturally, and Lynn Griffin, she's really great. Like it does feel like we just have like this really natural working relationship, and we're going to be working with the same cast as the original play, so I'm really excited for it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you get
thank you.
Get the band back together, as they say.
Oh yeah,
but
very bizarre clown-like band.
Right, yeah, that's the best part about it,
Oh yeah.
So I like to open and end my shows here with the same questions for everybody. So I already did that with the where do you see yourself in 5 years? What I meant to say, my bad. So here
good, man.
At the end here, so if you've got any socials, your Indiegogo campaign, I'm just going to give you the floor for a little bit, just to kind of plug all stuff that people could find about you online and all that, where you could watch Fang and all that fun stuff.
Oh, sweet. Well, Fang can be watched in multiple different ways. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. You can watch it for free with ads on Plex and Roku, and you can also buy Fang on DVD and Blu-ray from my website, burginworld.com. And I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and my best friend John Joseph Dunn and I are going to be starting a new production company pretty soon. So we're going to get the website up and running for that, and hopefully I'll have even more projects to be talking about, so I could do like a 2-hour interview, and then people were like, okay, Richard, we've had enough.
Yeah, too much, just so many things. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today,
thank
Richard.
you so much, Sean. This was a wonderful interview. Thank you so much for having me on the show, and I hope everybody who's watching this watches Fang, and I hope you watch the Slaughter Brothers and Malsomnia and all of the other movies that I have in store, and I hope you have a fantastic time watching all of them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Richard. Have a great
thank you. You have a great night.